The next day, after leaving a message for Haruki asking for help.
Are you certain that you got such a call? And that it came from one of our guests? That's why I'm in such a hurry. Every second matters here. However, I still haven't confirmed that you truly have any relation to our guest. Didn't I already tell you to confirm it with her agent? Did you get through to them? No, I couldn't possibly. After all, it's 2 a.m. I'm telling you, I have no time to lose. Didn't I explain to you earlier exactly the kind of things she said over the phone? It would be very grave if it was true. Fine then, I'll do it on my own. You can go ahead and call the police. If it turns out I'm lying, you can just have me removed on the spot. Alright then. However, I'll be the first to try to reach out to her. Is that okay? Go ahead, please. Save Kazusa. Miss Toma, I'm sorry for bothering you at this hour. It seems that from my insistence, the gravity of the situation has finally gotten through to the room clerk. Miss Toma, I apologize for the intrusion, but if you're awake, could you please open the door? However, neither his knocks nor his calls are loud enough to go through the bulky door and reach the other side of this spacious suite. It seems she's not awake. I keep telling you, she isn't responding. We couldn't get through to her even when you called her on the phone by the front desk. Well, that could be. Kazusa, I'm begging you, please answer. Hey, stop that. You're disturbing the other guests. This is not the time to worry about that. If she's hurt, it'll be on your conscience. From the very start, the hotel staff have been on alert ever since I rushed to the front desk. When I told them I was acquainted with Toma Kazusa and that I needed to enter her room right away, their suspicion only grew further. Kazusa, are you okay? I know you're in there. Talk to me. Are you certain? If it turns out that something awful has happened and you didn't help, I'll never forgive you. I'll put a curse on those very rules of yours. Miss Toma, are you okay? I spent dozens of minutes having a fruitless exchange with the front desk employee. When I told them that I hadn't heard from her since she sent her farewell on my answering machine, they finally became more cooperative. However, their doubts were still very strong. Damn it! What am I supposed to do? What the hell am I supposed to do? Oh, strange. No response, even with all this noise we're making. That's what I've been trying to explain to you all this time. They followed me all the way to Kazusa's room, but still insistent on following the rules. They refused to do more than wait for Kazusa to open the door. Still, this is only natural. They value their guests above all else, and they have no reason to trust a dubious stranger who showed up in the middle of the night. Damn it! Better call the police. No, an ambulance. Excuse me. Go to the front desk and Let's try to open the door first. At this point, we have no other choice. Up until now, he had been adamant about following the rules to the letter. But now it seems my desperation had finally reached him. However, I will enter first. I can't have anyone but staff entering someone's room without permission. Oh, alright. If you can't promise me that, then I'll have no choice but to see you out. They were afflicted with the same feeling of uncertainty, yet I could sense doubt in me disappearing, if only a little bit. I'll leave it to you. Please, help her. Perhaps my desperate pleas had finally reached the human side of the employee. Now then, Miss Toma, I really am sorry about this, but due to this being an emergency, I'll be entering your room. He then grabs a key out of his pocket and begins to move towards the keyhole. But at the very moment the key is about to enter, the keyhole moves backwards, as if avoiding it, or rather, more accurately.
My condolences.
The door opened.
He put on a really convincing act, didn't he? But he's just another journalist. And a big, fat liar.
Kazusa! And out of that door came a figure I hadn't seen for a whole day.
He's acting all surprised. But that's all part of his act. He's been using you from the start.
I was so worried about you. I'm so glad, Kazusa. It's just that her farewell wasn't as profound in meaning as I had thought. It's so cold. It had already stopped snowing. Instead of piling up, the snow melted onto the road. The wind, too, is unreasonably cold. The sky is starting to clear up. By daybreak, I'm sure we'll be able to see the bright sun again.
Why did you come here?
As I breathe into my hands for warmth, I see a white puff that soon disappears into the darkness of the night.
Making such a scene at this time of night? You'd have no right to complain if the police came and took you away.
After that ordeal, rather than pressing me for answers, the employee just turned bright red in bewilderment at the sight of Kazusa. I wanted to see you right away. In the end, Kazusa brought the whole fiasco to a close with the single, dull statement of, "This guy's with me."
It's been a whole day since I left. How is that right away?
The room clerk chalked it up to just being a lover's quarrel. He's probably having a sigh at the front desk as we speak. You're right. Sorry for taking so long.
Idiot! No one was waiting for you.
The problem is, he wouldn't exactly be wrong in that assumption.
Where are you going?
Nowhere in particular. Amidst the cool night wind, I walk around town with Kazusa at my heels.
What are you thinking? Bringing someone out in this cold?
Her mood must be soured by being called outside in the middle of the night and overwhelmed from all the things that had happened. Want to stop by at a family restaurant then? We could talk there.
It's not like we have nothing to talk about.
I see.
So, walk a bit slower, would you? Try to imagine what it's like having to catch up with you.
Sorry. In spite of that, Kazusa continues to follow me. She's desperately trying to match my pace so she won't be left behind.
But it's still cold. Very cold.
Come here. I should be able to protect you from the wind at least.
Okay.
At last, she lines up perfectly next to me. It was snowing up until a bit ago.
I know. I watched it from the hotel window.
So, you were awake.
So what if I was?
Because she has no one else but me right now. Because no matter how much she curses at me, and no matter how much she tries to push me away, deep down, she wants me by her side. I wonder if things would have been that much easier for the both of us if that self-aggrandizing conclusion was merely something I'd conjured up.
How long have you known? About Mom, I mean.
Not very long. For about a week.
Why would my mom tell you when she kept it a secret even from me? Why?
That's because
She trusts you more than she trusts me? Is that it? Because you're more reliable than me?
I practically forced it out of her. Just like how I forced you out here tonight.
Then why didn't you tell me? Why did you keep it a secret from me?
Because I knew you would react like this. Sure enough, she goes quiet and all but outright admits that I'm right by hanging her head. That's without Yoko-san to cling to. She no longer has any idea how to move forward, only stretching her hand out to the empty air in the vain hope of someone grabbing it. Walking all alone, crying, and lost.
So, that's why. That's why you've been so nice to me recently. That's why it all felt so forced.
Did you hate it?
Of course I didn't hate it. How could I ever hate you treating me nicely?
I wonder about that. Only stretching her hand out to seek me out.
But I wanted you to act more natural. I never wanted to find out that you had an ulterior motive.
Acting the way you want me to is easier said than done. I could no longer immerse myself in these convenient delusions. Kazusa has been in love with me for the past 5 years. That dreamlike reality, that one unbelievable delusion that could never come true. And yet, she herself reaffirmed those emotions with such unbelievable fervor.
You thought I was insufferable, didn't you? But you had to stay with me because of what happened with Mom.
I've already told you, that's not the case.
Because if I knew the truth, you thought I might try to kill myself? That's what you thought, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I know that you're not that inconsiderate of others. But I don't think you can recover on your own 2 feet either. You just don't have the courage. And you're not strong enough either.
What that's supposed to mean?
The person in front of me truly is at a loss, as I imagined she was. She's too afraid to go forward, but also too afraid to give up. So she ends up stuck in place. Looks like you've got it all figured out.
Do you take yourself for my guardian?
Yes, I do. Because I want to protect you.
I don't need that sense of obligation from you. Not even I would stoop so low as to accept being protected by a man who doesn't even love me.
Get it together then. Show Yoko-san and me that you can manage to live on your own.
Oh,
You can't, can you? You could never manage to do that, could you?
That's not true. After all, I've always been alone. Up until 5 years ago, I've been living all by myself.
You weren't alone at all. You convinced yourself that you were. You were living on Yoko-san's money, and not least of all, her kindness. You were living life as you saw fit, and all the while, you hated her for it.
What are you trying to say?
If no one reaches out a hand to her now, then she's going to rot away without taking another step forward. Even if nothing happens to cause her harm, it wouldn't surprise me if she still ended up that way. That's how weak she is. You're always been like this. You're selfish. You're a slob and a failure of a human being. Just having to look at you is getting me irritated.
Haruki?
And you're a bad person too. Your personality, your attitude, and your inability to see anything through. The only things you've got going for you are your looks and your piano.
But Haruki.
That's why when I push her away even a little bit, her voice starts shaking in an instant. You look beautiful, but you're rotten on the inside. Even if people accept you as a genius musician, you'll never be accepted as a proper member of society.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Unable to maintain her facade of vanity, she becomes unable to hold back her shock and tears. On top of being awful, you've made it even worse by falling in love with me. Do you have any idea how much pain you have caused me because of that?
You don't have to be so mean. It's not like I don't already know that.
Moreover, she's looking at me with desperate, upturned eyes full of tears, as if she were an abandoned pup clinging to me. That's why people like you struggle so much. On top of being talented, you stubbornly refuse to fit in with the rest of society. You're left with almost no social skills whatsoever.
I already know that. Why are you telling me this now?
She really is so weak. Kazusa, you really are useless.
Shut up.
The image I had in my head of the cool, dignified lone wolf that I used to have a crush on crumbles away. You can't live on your own, yet you're so picky about those who try to help you that you ruin things for yourself.
I said stop already. Just shut up. Please, just shut up.
She's a rabbit in wolf's clothing, acting like she prefers solitude, yet dies if left alone. The kind of odd species that would inevitably go extinct. How are you planning to live on without Yoko-san and me?
I don't know. I've never thought about something so ridiculous.
It's because you are so helpless. Because you are so unbelievably weak that
Haruki, I told you.
that I have to do something, right? I just can't bring myself to abandon someone as helpless as she is. If Yoko-san can't do it, then I will. I'll have to be the one to reach out to her. You know, as awful as you are, I love you more than anyone else in the world. I can't bear seeing you unhappy.
Haruki?
No. I want to be the one to reach out to her. If you need me to be happy, if you need me to continue living, then I'll be there for you. Even if it means I have to throw everything else away.
February 14th.
We bring you the news for February 14th, Valentine's Day. Let's start with the report from Miley Sports. Kazusa's additional concert to be cancelled? Following the positive reception of her first concert in Japan held in January, pianist Kazusa had made plans to hold an additional concert near the end of this month. However, recent statements made by related sources have cast doubt on any future performances being held due to poor health. Neither Kazusa-san nor her producer and mother, Yoko-san, have made any appearances before the press since the previous concert. Thus, it is likely that her health has indeed deteriorated since the previous concert, and that she is currently recuperating in a hospital somewhere within the metropolitan area. In fact, just last week, an ambulance was dispatched late at night to the hotel where Kazusa-san was thought to have been staying. Eyewitness reports on the scene expressed the possibility that the woman carried out at the time was Kazusa-san herself, adding further concerns to whether the additional concert will be held. Furthermore, a statement made by Tomoyoko office last night had this to say regarding the issue. We have received no such report and are currently investigating the matter. Tickets for Kazusa-san's first concert in Japan sold out within an hour, putting the demand for her performance at an unprecedented level for a classical musician.
Did you spread these rumors, Mio-chan? Did you spread these rumors, Mio-chan? Whispers were spreading amongst the media that your health had been failing recently, so I thought that I'd mislead them with a false clue. I see. Once it's made known Kazusa was fine all along, people will be less trustworthy when my illness is reported on. It was you who taught me how to turn a crisis into an opportunity. I would expect no less of Tomoyoko's office best employee. Thanks. I also happen to be the only employee in the Japanese branch. So, how is she? She's still not focusing on her piano practice. Sometimes I see her walking outside, but it never seems like she's doing anything more than just wandering aimlessly. You think she's in a bad mood? I would think so. However, more than just being in a bad mood, she seems to be troubled by something. Troubled? Yeah. Whenever I call out to her, she only gives me a half-hearted reply, as if her heart's someplace else. President, do you really think she's okay? You don't think she's feeling a little overwhelmed? If that's all, then there should be no reason for you to worry, Mio-chan. Are you sure? Being famous can come with a lot of hardships. That girl is a lot more normal than people around her might think. I'd say she's a bit too innocent for her own good. Innocent? So, you shouldn't worry about her giving up on life. I can't say the same about her giving up on being famous, though. I'm sorry, Mio-chan. My daughter is causing you a lot of trouble. It's okay. I understand her feelings almost too well. I highly doubt that. I'm so shocked I want to cry too. What would happen to Tomoyoko office if you retired? Well, let's worry about that when I leave the hospital. More importantly, how's preparations for the next concert going? All preparations are already in order on that end, be it to commence it or to revoke it. Part of the reason I spread that report was in order to do this. You truly are Tomoyoko's office best employee. The moment you made your decision, I started working on everything, on all sides, minimizing the possible damage. Thank you, Mia-chan. But what are we going to do about Kazusa-san? I'm not just talking about the concert, but after the concert too. For now, we can only watch over her. President! Will she be able to return to her old self? Will she end up losing everything? Or perhaps, will she throw something away to gain something else? Excuse me. Aren't you the pianist, Kazusa? I knew it! I thought that you looked familiar. I went to your last concert. No, I was so touched by it. I usually don't listen to classical music, but I'm a big fan of your performances. I see. I mean, the way you play is so beautiful and so incredibly picturesque. Just looking at you is satisfying enough. Please, shake my hand, please. And if it's okay, an autograph too? By the way, where are you going? You're going to stay in Japan longer, right? You still have your additional concert to play, after all. You're wrong. I'm not that famous. But you are Toma-san, right? So what if I am? Toma Kazusa is just an ordinary Japanese person you can find anywhere.
We're nearing our last stop, Narita Airport. Please make sure you have all your baggage with you when you step off. We would like to thank you for traveling with.
Hey, Kidahara, what's the matter with you recently?
Sorry, I've been really busy with the special issue.
That's fine, but you haven't shown your face around at all. And you haven't reported your progress either. And how come you never even greet me when you pass by?
I'm really sorry. This week I've been busy frequently Ensemble's editing department. I continue writing and answer without even turning my head, which only serves to anger Hamada-san even further. I know I shouldn't say it, but I don't have any time to lose talking.
So, how is the special issue going? You better not come crying to me that you won't be able to make it in time.
I'll get the first draft finished today. As things stand right now, everything should be done by the weekend.
What?
Isn't that a bit too fast? The deadline is in half a month.
All that's left now is to wait for the revision and compilation work to finish, as well as the supervisors and editors' postscripts. I felt some ill will towards me in that last part.
You're overthinking it, Ma-chan.
If you're making that much progress, then report it. Don't keep everything to yourself.
I apologize. I'll be more careful from now on. If you'll excuse me, may I continue writing?
Make a detailed report later. An email is fine.
Understood. I'd rather not waste time writing an email, but I'll have to do it. Perhaps on the train home. Let alone reporting my progress. I've been so strapped for time, I didn't even waste time entertaining the thought of writing one since the beginning of the week. That kind of workflow is simply unfit for a respectable employee, as Hamada-san suggested. But I don't want to waste time even thinking about that. After all, no, let's not even think of that possibility. Nothing is decided yet. Hey, Suzuki-san, don't you think Kitahara is acting a bit strange?
Well, I wouldn't expect you to understand what kind of person he is, Machan. He was Mari-san's favorite after all. He was Mari-san's favorite pupil after all.
No, I remember Mari-san saying something about dangerous Kitahara. I feel like he's becoming similar to that. Perhaps it's because I've been overworking since the beginning of the week. Or perhaps it's because I've been so utterly focused. My senses feel so sensitive right now. I feel like I can hear every single word being spoken around me. However, I still had no time to butt in, nor did I want to. I simply have to finish my work for the day as soon as possible. And besides, I can't say Matsuoko-san is wrong. The situation I find myself in is entirely of my own doing.
What kind of joke is this? Stop trying to mess with me with an awful joke like that.
Then I'll be there for you, even if it means I have to throw away everything else. The words that had left my mouth just a few seconds earlier, like Kazusa said, truly did come off as an awful joke.
I know that you don't mean it, but my hopes will still go up, and it'll only bring me more sadness.
Is having me around something sad for you? Is the idea of always being with me that bad?
You moron! Stop misinterpreting my words on purpose. I hate that part of you.
I'm sorry. Hiding my embarrassment has no purpose when talking to Kazusa as she is now.
It's because I feel like I might wake up from this dream. I'll wake up and be reminded that this could never happen.
Kazusa, because Kazusa herself has stopped hiding her feelings and has stopped pretending to be strong.
Don't promise me things that can't happen. There is a limit to how cruel someone can be, you know?
Instead, she put all her energy into looking at nothing but me, removing anything from her vision that wasn't me. Even so, I'm sorry to say that you're completely mistaken.
Huh?
I'm not lying at all. I'm not messing with you either. So, I too will answer Kazusa truthfully. I'll remove everything from my vision but her. From now on, I'll always be with you. I'll follow you wherever you go, even to Vienna if I have to. Whether it's the famous pianist Toma Kazusa or the ordinary Japanese girl Toma Kazusa, it makes no difference to me.
Haruki?
All that matters is that I'll support that one person. From now on, I will live solely for her.
You.
Yet, the more I answer her feelings, the more I promise to fulfill her wishes.
Have you lost your mind?
The air around us grows colder, but for a different reason than the weather. We're walking down a road that leads to no happiness, only despair, enveloping dark clouds, and unimaginable pressure await us on this path.
But that's only the dream I desperately wished for. It wouldn't actually happen, would it?
Even abroad, I'll be fine. I'll probably have a lot of difficulties at first, but I'm sure I can get proper employment there eventually.
That's not what I'm talking about.
You don't have to worry about my family. I've been away from them for the most part anyway.
That's not what I'm talking about at all. You're misinterpreting me on purpose again, aren't you?
I guess so.
What about Setsuna? Don't tell me. You can't have.
Kazusa got the wrong idea for a short while, but then immediately understands that true cruelty isn't in promising to fulfill a dream that can't come true. You don't have to worry about that. I'll manage that by myself, somehow. Because the very moment that dream does come true, it'll also mark the beginning of a time of true despair.
Boarding for East Japan Airlines Flight 248 to Vienna is now open. Passengers of this flight, please head to Gate 82. That's impossible, Haruki. Of course, that's impossible.
Then what are you going to do from now on? Are you going to live on by yourself? Can you give me peace of mind, knowing you will manage?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about you. It's too much for you. If you did that, you'd make everyone miserable for my sake. Setsuna, yourself, everyone.
I'll be fine.
Of course you won't be fine. You'll be the worst off in all of this.
I told you, I'll be fine.
But you love Setsuna. You both wanted to be with each other for the rest of your lives.
Kazusa,
If you do this, if you abandon the person who has loved you so earnestly for 5 years, you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
Kazusa,
How can you?
Kazusa! It's too late.
It's not too late at all. You haven't decided anything yet. You don't have to.
There is no choice I can make anymore that I won't come to regret. If I abandon you now, when you need me so much, I'll never be able to forgive myself.
But that's.
No matter what I do, it's hopeless. It's far too late to make things right. That's why
Wait a minute.
I've decided that, if nothing else, I'll save the person who's most important to me.
You idiot.
For once, you're probably right.
You can't do that. You can't, Haruki.
Kazusa,
Don't make me even more dependent on you.
it's because you always put things that way that I can't bring myself to leave you.
I am sorry.
Hey, Kazusa.
What is it?
Of course, even if that's my choice, it's pointless if it brings you no happiness.
Haruki?
If you feel like you'll be happier without me, if you feel like you can manage on your own, then push me away. All I care about anymore is your happiness. That's all I need to make my resolve.
But that's... How could I... How...
In the end, I'm only causing you more pain. I'm sorry. But I still want the final choice to be yours.
Mine?
I think that, like me, you'll regret your choice no matter what it is. That's why, at least, your regret should be of your own choice. That when you betray those you love, you'll remember that.
Trey?
I've already betrayed them. The rest is up to you. Will you decide to continue living in despair as you are now? Or will you choose to live a life filled with greater pain, but also one filled with greater happiness? Please, think about it.
Haruki.
No matter what you choose, I'll do everything to see it through. Even if that means I have to make a deal with the devil.
Haruki. This is the final boarding call for East Japan Airlines Flight 248 bound for Vienna. All passengers, please proceed immediately to gate 82 to board. Thank you.
Toma! Hey, Oda, the gate is not that way. Huh? But it says the flight to Frankfurt is at gate 70.
Yes, but it's the wrong airline. Check your ticket, would you?
Oh, you're right. Why do they have to make things so complicated?
They leave at about the same time is all. Come on, let's get to gate 54.
My bad. Let's go. Be more careful. Are you sure you won't get lost on the way back?
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Haruki has decided to go with Kazusa back to Vienna. I am not sure if this is a wise decision, but horny 20-somethings don't always make the wisest decisions. This is going to have repercussions amongst everyone, especially Setsuna.